Thank you for being with us for Open Line tonight. As you well know, because the phone lines are lit up, we are on open. We're talking about gun violence tonight. I have Jesse McKinney with us with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. And while we have talked a lot about the mass shootings that continually happen in America, I also want to talk about gun violence that is happening within our own homes that is very preventable, from children getting a hold of guns, and also, sadly, so many children choosing to commit suicide, and the guns being readily available to help them do that. Moms Demand Action is really working hard to change that story.
Correct. So we have a gun safety program that we have called Be Smart, and one of the defining characteristics of our Be Smart gun safety program is that it really teaches us that as a responsible gun owner, it's our responsibility to make sure that children cannot access our weapons, our firearms, our guns in our home. So it's important that we tell our children what to do when they see a gun. Don't touch it, tell an adult, but we can't put all of the responsibility and pressure on doing the right thing on that child. As a parent, for instance, it's my responsibility to make sure that my children don't have access to a gun in my home. So it's important to do both. We have to talk to them about what to do when they see a gun, that they're not toys, don't touch it, tell an adult, but we also need to make sure that we are taking the responsibility to make sure we're securing that gun in a way that they cannot access this. And this is important for parents who have young children in the home, grandparents who have children come to visit their home. We see this often in Tennessee with toddlers and preschoolers, but as you mentioned, the other side of that is also middle school teenagers who might be having a moment of crisis, and if they have easy access to a gun, might decide to shoot themselves and commit suicide. And sadly, we know that a suicide attempt with a gun is much more likely to be successful than any other means.
It is really crazy, and I want you to hear these statistics just so it can affect you the same way it did me today. You sent over this information. Every year, nearly 600 children 17 and under die by suicide with a gun. That's crazy. 4.6 million American children live in homes with guns that are both loaded and unlocked. Just asking for a disaster to happen. It's scary. 4.6 million American children, loaded and unlocked guns are at their disposal.
It is scary, and like I said, it's so important that as a responsible gun owner that we do teach our children what to do, and we do teach our children that these are not guns and not to touch them. But I mean, I'm a mom, you're a mom, I'm sure lots of people listening are moms. You tell your child not to touch something. You tell them not to sneak the Halloween candy. And how many times do they just lack the mental capacity? They lack that impulse control. And unlike sneaking an extra sweet before dinner, playing with a gun can be deadly. And that's just a chance that we cannot take.
And even I've heard I've said it on the news as, here's a tip. If your children are going over to a friend's house, you have to ask the parents, do you have loaded, unlocked guns in the house? And it seems crazy to have to ask that, and you may feel like, oh, I don't want to be that parent, but you got to be that parent.
I do, and I think, we live in Tennessee, and we are in the South, and there are many gun owners. There are many responsible gun owners in our state. But again, when it's my child, when it's your child, I think we have to sometimes have that uncomfortable conversation in order to make sure we're doing what we can to keep our child safe. And if we all start to ask those questions and have those conversations, it won't be so uncomfortable anymore.
Very true. Yeah, it'll just be normal. Be the normal question to ask when you send your child away. Let's see if we can get back to the phones and sneak a call in or two. We have Carrie on the line. Hi, Carrie.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for taking the call. I just wanted to say that listening to some of your previous callers, our country, and I am a Christian, our country has turned away from God like some time ago. And although there's a place for it in this debate, the real aspect is our legislatures need to have the courage to do the right thing. And I think the problem that we're having, especially with these mass shootings, is we have so many laws on the books already that you have discussed that we just don't enforce. If we would enforce the laws that are there currently, I think it would eliminate some of the problems that we have. But one of the biggest issues I have is with the weapons that are being used to facilitate these mass killings. There's no place for them in society. If and again, I'm a member of the NRA. I have a FOID card. I own a weapon myself and take care of it. And I've had people from the NRA call me, and I've had this discussion before where this is not about taking away your handgun. You're taking away an assault rifle. These types of weapons only belong in the hand of the police or the military or something along those lines. And unfortunately, I think that our lawmakers don't have the courage to fight against the lobbyists or whoever they need to stand up and say, hey, listen, we understand that you have a right to bear arms. But when it gets to the level of having that type of a weapon in your home, what's the purpose? You're going to go hunt a deer with an assault rifle and blow it to bits? No, if you have a hunting rifle and you want to go hunting, that's one thing. And me personally, I think that would take care of a lot of things. And it frustrates me that the people that in public office do not have the courage to step up and do the right things. And the basic thing would be just enforce the laws around the books. Background checks around the book already. If so, and again, you can get into the whole issue of HIPAA. Everybody has this personal right to have their mental health information private. But when you have somebody that has a mental health issue, as most of these people do, that has the potential and has demonstrated the potential to go out and facilitate this type of behavior, and we stand by and do nothing because we want to protect their personal rights. At some point, again, in our society, we have to get to the point where, yes, you as an individual have rights, but when you're about to infringe upon the rights of citizens in the form of killing them because of the mental disorder that you have, this is where I really struggle with what is taking place in our society.
Carrie,
you can
thank
play
you.
about
You know
it all
what?
day long.
I have to take a quick break. We're up against a hard break here, so I have to go. But I tell you, I truly appreciate your thoughtful phone call tonight. I think that you're ending us on a very thoughtful note, and I appreciate it. We're going to be right back.